Practically all over the world, you are seeing different branches of engineering. But it all started with military engineering. You have to believe this. Those who are involved in war, those who are involved in military are the people who have invented the terminology called engineer and engineering, and it all started with engineering. Not only this, the entire quality control, what we talk about, again is related to engineering because, military engineering because, during the World War, many countries joined together and fought the World War. When they wanted to have interchangeability of equipments and devices, they found that the interchangeability was not possible because every country started using their own standards. So the standardization, sampling, all these techniques came because of war, during war, because of military. Then they concentrated on civilians and civilian applications. As all other human beings require transport, roads, bridges, flyovers, buildings, the next set of engineers were the ones who assisted, the ones who made changes for the benefit of civilians. Therefore, they were known as civil engineers. Then civil engineering came into existence.
These days, especially this day, I am very happy that this man, the great man Visvesvaraya Garu, worked with indigenous technology to solve the local problems. This is how every engineer should think of it. Every engineering student should think of it. So it is not nanotechnology or something. What are the first thing, the way approach for every engineering student? What are the local problems? What are the in-house problems? We waste a lot of power in our buildings. We waste a lot of water in our buildings. We waste a lot of materials in our buildings. What are the, yes, this is the problem. Then, yes, in the same way, in this region, the agriculturalists, day in and day out, suffer from the lack of power. And they can't operate the motor during the nights when the power is on. And they don't have the facility to store the food. On one day, the tomato is sold for 50 paisa, and the other day, the same tomato is sold for 10 rupees. Visvesvaraya Garu is known for his commitment, known for his dedication of his services to the society. Those days, the main occupation is the agriculture, to improve the agriculture and to make the rights happy. This is the way you have to think of it every moment. For the new ideas, for the new things, I think all of you are fit to do that. All of you are fit to do that. But the only thing, we don't have the approach. We don't bother about the local problems. We don't bother about the problem itself. We don't know how to analyze the problem, and we don't know how to solve it. This is it. Any student can tell what is the difference between science and engineering. Both looks like same and sounds same. Anybody? Science and engineering, any student? No, you don't know, being an engineering student. So science is, it develops the concept, it develops an equation irrespective of the cost and other things. But the same thing is applied by an engineer and to make it cost effective. That is the whole difference between the science and... So science, to discover something, nobody minds about the country or a scientist or laboratory, never minds about the cost of it. Whatever the cost of it, you have to get the concept. But for an engineer, it should be for a meaningful way, it should be cost effective, it should be useful to the society. You should connect it to the society. That is all the difference.
India is the only country that has been invaded and has been used and has been continuing to be the target for many businesses world over. Not just today, starting from a few thousand years ago. People come into India. If we are a problem of plenty, if we are a problem country, why should they come to us? Actually, I believe that India is not a problem country, but it's an opportunity country. Just to give a small example, in Bangalore, I repeat, in Bangalore, there are about 25,000 software companies. Every multinational company which has an office either in Europe or in US has a branch in Bangalore. Every company, I can tell you that if you take HP, IBM, every company has an office in Bangalore. Not only just Bangalore, now it's Chennai, it's Hyderabad, it's Delhi, Mumbai. If that's the case, why should they come to India? There is definitely something with us, not with the country. There is something with us, all of you, maybe previous generation, us and Dr. Chairman here, but all of you. So all of you have something in you. So they are coming to us to get something from you. Don't think that you are getting a job from them. Actually, it's the other way around. They come to you to get something from you, not the other way around. As a starting point, I think we should be proud of India, proud of all of us, proud of Indians, and proud of great Mr. Visvesvaraya. Okay? Now, though it's big, we have lots of opportunities. You know what they call India as? They say that small is big. Just as an example, in US, one telephone call will probably cost you $1. 1 minute of telephone cost is 60 rupees or 65 rupees today. Just imagine in India. It cannot be 65 rupees ever, maybe another 100 years, but just now it may be 1 rupees, 2 rupees, etc. I'm talking about local calls. I'm not talking about international calls. So, Vodafone, which charges 60 rupees in the US, is willing to come to India and charge you only 1 rupee. Are they undergoing a loss? Actually, no. In US, the reality is they make 59 rupees margin, whereas in India, they make a margin of maybe 50 paisa. Look at the difference. But still, Vodafone comes to India, still you have a Vodafone connection, and they still make profit. So India is not a country of problems. It's actually a country of, the definition, the term will be small is big. Anything you start small, you can definitely make big in India.
So one example is there for our Visakhapatnam also. He is having one association with that. During those days, the port was developed. You know that Visakhapatnam port is natural port. And having the shipping and the facility, vessels, all vessels, heavy vessels to come into the port, taking the advantage of existing hill called as Dolphin Nose. At that time, because of heavy wave action, that sand is to be deposited every time, and they used to not have a minimum draft. So every day, even the dredging operation was being done every day. On the next day, that again that sand is being deposited. So there's a recurring expenditure. It's beyond the level of the port for maintenance. At that moment, he was invited, the Mokshagunam Visvesvaraya to Visakhapatnam. He took only 1 day for this reconnaissance and everything. And simply, he had given one solution you cannot imagine. Just at the edge of the Dolphin Nose, one empty ship body filled with rocks was asked to be sunken there in one angle, specific angle of 1900 degrees. They had also specified that angle. So with that, all the sand which have come with waves was used to be deposited there. Only water only used to enter into that. So immediately that recurring expenditure of this dredging has been removed, and the port was very, very grateful to him. So even today in Visakhapatnam port, employees will remember the effort, the simple solution is given by the great engineer, and how the recurring problem was solved. So
it was me and a few friends that have created this app 6 months ago. And basically a few years ago, I was sitting just like you in one of those seats. And basically what happened was, one day my girlfriend complained that our conversations got boring. That's when I started this app. being an engineer that I am, I could not think of any other way to solve it. So I just launched this app and put it up on Google Play Store. And then it started taking off organically, and that's how everybody got to know about the app. And what happened after that was a lot of people started downloading the app, and we even got funding. And actually, before we got funding, we did not have an office space. So we approached Vignan Krishna Garu, and he arranged us an office space in Vignan Hyderabad School. And that really helped us build a team during the initial phases when we didn't have funding.